Welcome back to Our Blades Walk. Only one topic that anyone's concerned about this week in football in Sheffield. It's the 146 Steel City derby as United head to Hillsborough for the first time in 6 years. We're previewing it all with our regular team here. We're also talking about the brilliance of Sydie Peck. What are the wages at Sheffield United? Who are the top earners? And what does that tell us about how well the club is run or not? And stay behind at the end of the video because we're asking this team which teams we want to see promoted from League One. We have Shex, Connor, and Dan back with us on one of the most temperamental Sheffield United podcast for 20 minutes that you can watch. I'm delighted to have you all back. We'll talk about the Preston game, I promise, in a minute. But Shax, we have to start with the derby. How excited are you for this one?
I don't know if excited is the right word, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think we're a better side. I think league table tells you we're a better side. Form tells you we're a better side. Squad, players, we're a better side. But obviously, that can go out a window in a derby match. But I'm not excited about it. I'd rather not play it and just have a point and just move on. But yeah, it's one of them. Like just a couple of weeks ago, it seemed like years away, and then all of a sudden, bang! It's here. That's it. So you've just got to deal with it now, aren't you?
We're going to bring in a Sheffield Wednesday fan in a second and get their views on it, Dan. But just talk to us what the morning of the derby's like when it's the away fixture for Blades fans. I mean, Hillsborough's a ground in the middle of nowhere in terms of one of my visits in terms of Sheffield as a city. What's it like as a fan travelling away to this fixture?
Over the years, pretty much same as going on a home game. Really, the nerves kick in. I'd rather just wake up after the game's finished and see what's happened. But yeah, everything like Shaq says, form goes out the window. At the moment we are the top team, we are the form team, but anything can happen. Anything can happen in a derby. But the morning for me, it'll just be normal routine. I had a ticket, but I'm not going. I prefer not to go if I'm honest. Driving past it's bad enough, but going to it, if I go to it, if I spend some money there, I have to break something. So there's no point. There's no point doing that for me. So I think I'll watch it on television at a friend's house. To be honest, okay. So it'll just be a relaxed morning. That's it.
We know we've got Bristol City before this, Connor, but obviously that's not as important as this one. Does the Leeds result today, because they've lost to Portsmouth, does this now make this derby even more important than it was before that Leeds result?
It definitely adds a certain element to it, doesn't it? I think regardless of if they'd won or not, Leeds, we need to go into it and we need to get a result. Because it's not that Leeds are concerned about, obviously. Burnley are so close behind and it only takes us slipping up and just taking a draw and they're in front of us on goal difference because that makes all the difference. That kind of like an extra point, the goal difference, and ours being so low and those so high, it is a concern. But to be honest, I think they're always stronger at Hillsborough Wednesday when we play them. But last few times we've gone there and we've had no concerns, and the squad is in a lot better condition than what it were before. So I think we can go there and enjoy ourselves.
All right. Okay, let's bring in Matt then, who's from obviously Where Owls Walk and of course many other Sheffield United podcasts. Sheffield Wednesday podcasts, I should say, across various different platforms. Welcome, Matt. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Listening to Shaq's Dan and Connor talk then was just, I haven't been feeling too bad about it up until literally just sat down on this and now absolutely terrified. Thanks all.
From your point of view, I've heard some Wednesday fans saying, look, we're not going up, we're not going down. This game next Sunday is our season. Is that your view?
I don't think so, no. I think, ultimately, obviously, anybody who is around sort of like the Steel City or anybody who was even like brushed past a Sheffield Wednesday fan knows we've got far bigger issues than what's going on with the league at the minute. And matters off field, both with ownership and obviously manager as well. It was really interesting listening to you three kind of talk about that through there because, again, and I don't want to sound kind of like repetitive, Mark, from November. there's not really any pressure on us, to be perfectly honest. Like, it's an incredibly pressurized game, but we're not really playing for anything. Like, it's a sort of, yes, there is importance on the fixture. Of course it is. It's a Steel City derby. You obviously want to beat your neighbours the same way that the three lads will obviously want to absolutely slap us about all over Hillsborough on Sunday coming. But aside from that, we're not in the same position in terms of we've not got two sides chasing us. You know, we're not trying to catch a side at the top of the league. We're not trying to catch a side for kind of like the playoffs. We are pretty much firmly absconded in mid-table, and that is where we're going to end up. I personally don't feel that this is the season. I think it's the most important game of the season that's left. But aside from that, no. I mean, again, echoing what Shaq said and what we both said in November, if you offered me a draw now, I'd call it a day and I'd join Dan in his front room for the full Sunday and just kind of like have a lovely day, to be honest with you, by the sound of it.
Shaq, you've highlighted that you are the superior team in terms of players and points and so on. This was a close game back in November, and the previous three fixtures prior to this, when it was 6 years ago, were all finished in 0-0. Is this going to be close, or do you expect a battering, or not a battering, but do you expect there to be more than just the one goal in it that was there in November?
If they weren't called Sheffield Wednesday and we were playing a team in 13th that had done what they'd done this season, I'd be going there expecting to win and win. I won't say comfortably because that's not us, but I'd be going there and expecting to win. Like we went to QPR and I'd expect to win and we won. Like when you go to like a Preston and you go there and you expect to win and you win. Sometimes it don't matter how it comes. I just go to a team that's mid-table. I expect to win. Now, factor in that there's going to be 30,000 Sheffield Wednesday fans. It's a Steel City derby, and obviously that adds something different. It's probably not going to go that way, but no disrespect meant towards Matt or whatever. They're not good enough. Do you know what I mean? They're not good enough to compete with us. I'm going to be honest with you. That and he knows that deep down. That side is not good enough to compete with our side. Will it pan out like that? I don't know, but that Sheffield Wednesday side's not good enough to be on 76 points after however many games we've played and be looking at promotion point blank in face. That they're not good enough. But anything can happen, you know what I mean? That's it. Not just because it's a derby match. Anything can happen in any match. You've seen games this season. Who would have thought Portsmouth would have beat Leeds today? Like, you know what I mean? Leeds will have gone there thinking they're just going to roll them all out. We're probably going to think we're going to roll Wednesday or Hillsborough. It don't work like that. Championship. That is why we love it. All can happen. But on all known form, on players, on everything, I think we're too good for them. I'm sorry, but I do.
Dan, what about some of what the Wednesday fans are saying that the United players won't have played in any atmosphere as hostile as what they're going to experience on Sunday? It's all right trotting up to Leeds and Burnley and you're getting a few names shouted at you, but this is going to be poker hot. And for some of those younger players in particular, that might just be a leveller. Do you jump on board with that view at all?
Not really, because I think it comes from the manager, doesn't it? For me, I think if it was a manager that's not associated with the city and with the club, it's totally different. But you can even see the response from losing to Leeds, the character, the drive in the players. I don't think it'll affect him. I really don't, because he won't allow that in what he demands from the players and what he demands from the squad. And there's some of the other boys in there, some of the other lone boys like your Hamza Chowdhury and your people like that who have played in that. They'll be working with them younger players or advising them younger players on it. But for boys like Sydie Peck, it's not going to bother him. It's not. It's just that type of character. But it might do on one or two, but I don't think it will. Like I said, the manager's a really big help because with him being a Sheffield fan and from the city, I just think he'll have it drilled into him all week on that. So.
Matt, following the November result, there was a video on social media of Chris Wilder in a pub after the game singing the Danny Roll song. Some suggestions are that actually all Danny Roll needs to do is to play that video to his players in the change room, and actually his team talk's done. Is there going to be an extra bit of spice towards Wilder in particular because of that?
Gentlemen, I know you all love Chris Wilder. I think he's hated enough by the blue and white side of the city without him doing all of that rubbish after the game in November. For Sheffield United fans, they will have loved it. I think for a lot of obviously Sheffield Wednesday fans, some completely took it as absolutely nothing. I just personally, obviously, I said it on the on our platform as well, Mark. Like I just said, it's just not something that I'd want our manager doing. I've seen Megson smack a badge in front of an away end and things like that. It's just not something that I would have wanted to have seen done. But again, I don't know Chris Wilder as well as Sheffield United fans do. I think obviously that feeds into a lot of why Sheffield United fans love him. And that is, he's fully bought in. He's a fan, as I think Shax and Dan were talking about there. He's a fan, and I think from a Sheffield United persuasion, you would sit there and go, no, it's absolutely wonderful. It's great. We love to see that type of thing. It was just something that, again, I think it was, from my perspective, I thought it was something that I wouldn't have wanted to see a manager doing with a blue and white badge on. I'd say this now. I would really hope he doesn't do anything stupid like that on Sunday, if by some miracle we get a result.
Okay. Connor, it's a difficult one, this, because there seems to be on social media, and obviously I just read social media, I don't live in this city, but there seems to be a genuine dislike. And some derbies have, they call it friendly derbies, but I can't find any love at all between United and Wednesday at all. Other than when you've actually self-applauded, each other's fans who've lost lives, and that's been very good and held it. But there's the genuine hatred between these two clubs. I mean, Barry Bannon's wife has absolutely been at it from United fans on Twitter.
Mark, try living in a split household.
Is it when people say it's one of the fiercest derbies there is in the UK? Are they right?
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
I think it's underrated. Sorry, Connor. I think it's one of the most underrated ones. Sorry, Connor.
No, it's all right. But yeah, I definitely think it is, because ever since I got into football, it's like it's bled into you, sort of thing. Like you're just passionate about it, and it's the entire city. And with it being such a big city and two teams as well, I think if it's strange, if it were one team like you get with Leeds and stuff like that, we could be a powerhouse like them. But the hatred between each other, it's just something that's just born into you when you're with your mates. When it's match day, you do not like each other. You do not talk to each other. This week now, I will not be mentioning anything in group chat at all. I do not want to jinx anything, so I will not be speaking to him, and I will not speak to him until after match. And especially if somehow we lost to him, that's it. You won't see me. I won't speak to anyone at work, but. It's something, like I say, you're just born into it, and you're just so passionate about it, and it just spreads throughout the city.
Shax, for you, is it up there with the number one derby, top 5 derbies in the country, this one, Shax?
Yeah. I just want to go back to some of what you just said a minute ago when you said, will our boys be able to deal with it being hostile? I've been to more hostile kids' birthday parties than Hillsborough. Listen, mate, they've got fully grown men bouncing up and down, singing about if you don't bounce. They've got a drum, they've got a band, they've got everything that screams not hostile. If you think bouncing up and down on spots hostile, mate, I'm telling you now, you want to go to run around on a Saturday morning with kids, that's more hostile than Hillsborough. That's not an hostile. Millwall away is hostile. Leeds is hostile. Portsmouth is hostile. Hillsborough, get that out of your head, mate. Whoever's told you that, honestly, you're having a laugh. Like I said, fully grown men bouncing up and down on spots, singing about if you don't bounce, you're a blade. That's not hostile. That's just embarrassing. I should imagine when ball goes out of play, that half our players will just stand and have a look and start laughing, because that's all I do when I go there, mate. Trust me, mate, that is not an hostile ground. Just get that out of there straight away that it's hostile at Hillsborough, because no, it isn't. I'm telling you now, that is not an hostile place to go.
Just if I can just respond,
Fenerbahce or Galatasaray away, let's talk about
Right.
going to Galatasaray. That's hostile. Again, Hillsborough, mate. Come on.
Just if
All
I
right,
can respond,
Matt,
Mark, if I
please
heard
respond.
30,000 fans singing at me sausage roll from another ground, I'd feel exactly the same.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but come on, mate. Yeah.
Matt, if I could offer you this win against them on Sunday, but then you'd lose every game that's the 9 games that are left, would you take it?
Yeah, because we'd just be safe after the weekend at Plymouth.
So, right, let's get some score predictions. This is going to be great. I mean, as a neutral, I've already booked my Sunday lunchtime, got the kids out of the way. I'm watching this one with my feet up. Shaq, score prediction?
A close 2-1 Blades.
Dan?
I hate doing this. Probably go with Sharks. Yeah, it's going to be a very close, tight game. I think the majority of derbies that we've played have been, to be honest. So I think it's going to be tight again. But yeah, I think 2-1, 1 goal in it.
Connor?
3-1 United.
Okay. Matt?
One of the worst home records in the division, as they've said. Miles ahead in terms of quality players, miles ahead in terms of points, in terms of where we are. We can't keep clean sheets at home. There's no ifs or buts about it. 2-1 Wednesday.
Brilliant. Right, Matt, we will wish you well. Thank you so much for coming on, and we massively appreciate it. Good luck. For Sunday, right, you lot, let's get into a little bit of stuff from the Preston game. First off, got to start with this one. Of course, I'm recording this on the day in which Joe Bonnet would have turned around the age of 32, and of course we remember him, and thoughts go out to his family and friends as well, and well remembered, of course, with a nice significant applause at the game yesterday. Right then, Dan, no headed goals all season, then 2 in the last 2 games. Yeah, you're scoring from different ways of scoring goals. What was your view of the Preston game overall?
Again, another average performance, which from talking to me on here, I'm not particularly bothered about. It's points driven, it's results driven, and another clean sheet, 19th this season. And you win how you win. And I heard somebody saying coming out of the ground, another bad performance yet. We've won 24 out of 36, and I think to myself, what more can people want? And they can do that for the rest of the season for me. But I thought Preston were always going to come and make it difficult under Heckingbottom. I thought we were fortunate to get away with a penalty that I think I've looked back at it a couple of times. Preston were probably unlucky not to get. But do you know what? I thought it was always going to be a tight game with Paul Heckingbottom and Stuart McCall coming back. But to be honest, other than hitting the post, I don't really think they threatened us that much. And I thought it was a comfortable 1-0.
Okay.
So that was my view on it.
Yeah. Sydie Peck, we've talked about a lot on here, but we're going to talk about again because, again, another fantastic performance from him, Connor. Sydie Peck has come on so much this season, was already a decent player at the start, but especially since the start of this year, he's got better and better. Can't believe we got him in our Blaster as our future midfield. Peck, man of the match, what our first season's having some player. Yeah, I mean, we're running out of superlatives, Connor, for him, aren't we?
Yeah, he's really, really impressive. He seems to have developed ever so much into the start of the season. He seems to get better and better. It adds a little bit extra to next week because all the Wednesday fans won't shut up about him for the last few weeks on Twitter. So if we can put a nice man of the match in, get a few crunching tackles in on Barry Bannon, do the world of good for him. But yeah, he's been really, really good. It'd be nice to see him maybe add a few goals to his game if he can. But overall, he's combative. He's really, really passionate. He reminds me a bit of like Dean Henderson when we had him, and he was really passionate, always it in the badge sort of thing. And I think that's what really gets a lot of fans on his side. And I've not seen anyone say a bad word about him. Obviously, it'll be difficult to see what type of formation we play when Al Blaster is back if he plays them together. But I think we've got a really exciting future in terms of the midfielders.
Yeah, really young as well. I love hungry young players. Shax, we'll leave the Leeds fans' comment for you. as I know you love them responding to them so much. Just a reminder, says Isaac, the number of current top 10 clubs still need to be faced by the clubs are as follows: Leeds 2, United 4, Burnley 5, and the number of top 6 clubs they have to face is Leeds 0, United 2, Burnley 3. They're getting it in that they've got an easier run than you. But you said it yourself, I think 2 weeks ago, that the whole league can change around in 2 weeks, and exactly that. Once that Portsmouth game is finished today, you must have had a little smile on your face, I'd imagine.
Well, you've just said it yourself. If you put on that they've only got however many not to play in top 6, they played somebody in bottom 6 today and lost. So good luck with that. You know what I mean? You can play anybody in this league and lose. I remember some better teams what's come to Lane and then ones down at the bottom. I think Portsmouth were one of them. I thought
Hull City.
Hull City another one. They played us off top. So don't be thinking because you've not got teams in top 6 to play. We absolutely battered Middlesbrough when they were 5th. Do you know what I mean? And then you play Hull, and then you lose or we're 3rd bottom. So I don't read out into that who you've got left to play or this. Obviously, it's nice for us not to have to play Leeds because they've got one over on us, haven't they? But there's no teams now. You can't pick 10 games out and pick 10 easy ones out. You might get 2 or 3 what you might fancy. But then other 6, you'd have no chance of picking a perfect run of fixtures out. There is no perfect fixtures. They're all hard games.
But the title race is definitely back on, Dan, isn't it?
100%. I've said it for weeks. I thought I've said it for months. I still think it now. I still think we'll be champions. I just think we've got a little bit of something different. Do I think that Sheffield United would have gone and lost at Portsmouth today? No, I don't. Easy to say that. But I just think I know they beat us with a couple of late.
We didn't lose at Portsmouth, did we?
I think a couple of Leeds last few games have relied on late goals. You can't always rely on that, and it's gonna kill me for the rest of the season. But we've won more games. We've got 2 points more than anybody else, even though the league table don't say it. I just think we've got something else. And when they want to talk about run-ins, you've got Coventry to come to Bramall Lane who are on fire. You've got Blackburn to come to Bramall Lane. You've got Cardiff who made it difficult yesterday for Sunderland. So, like Shaq says, there's no easy games in this league. You look at Bristol City Tuesday, a side that we genuinely always struggle against. And we've spoke about Wednesday, which we're going to speak about. But for me, I couldn't care less about that game until Tuesday's out at way and we try and get another 3 points because that's what. So another 1-0. I'm not bothered. It's for me. We're going to be champions. I've told people to put money on it, and if they don't, that's their problem.
Okay. Love this confidence. Right, this week we're also talking about wages and the top higher performance as a club. Connor, any idea who your top earner is at United?
I know they're on about Calma Ware. We're on meant to be on some decent money, so maybe him up there.
Yeah, so it's all the loan players, to be fair. And I also don't know how many. Yeah, don't know how much United are playing of all these wages on here. But I couldn't believe the number of players that are on over a million a year. I mean, there's a lot there. I know some of them are ex-Premier League and probably would have been signed up while in your Premier League era there. But the overall wages that United spend is just over. Well, reportedly just over 20 million. I mean, Connor, when you look at that, does that surprise you or worry you at all?
I wouldn't say it really worries me. Obviously, on the list, we're top 6 on the list, and we're in second place. So you'd say we're probably value for money currently. Obviously, if we didn't go up, it'd be a different situation. But the players that we brought in do have resale value, so it's not like we'd have to be concerned about selling players to move them on, sort of thing. I think we wouldn't have any problems with that if we needed to. Like I say, I think the most shocking thing for me on there is the fact that we gave Reece Norrington-Davies a new contract, and he's getting $1.5 million, however much it is a year, because he's terrible. Rest in it, you can understand it. The loan players that we've had from last season in the Premier League. They're going to have reduced terms, but not by that much. So it's understandable. But as long as we get promoted, there aren't really many concerns on there for me.
Okay. All right, let us know what you think in the comments in relation to that. Finally, this week, we're asking Sheffield United fans, they may not care about this next question, but we're asking them anyway, who would you like to see come up from League One? You might not be there. We all hope you won't be, but there's 8 teams in contention. Oh, let's remove that one. There we go. That's the one I want. Shax, any feeling strong or not towards any of these? Who would you like to see promoted?
Birmingham obviously have spent probably 10 times more than everybody in league, times that by 10 again, so they're going up. So, but I don't mind Birmingham. It's a decent away day. They're a big club. I can't stand Wrexham. I'd like to see them playing in League of Wales somewhere against, I don't know, Bala or Cwmbran or something like that. They shouldn't even be playing in our league, but that's another story. Charlton, as one of your Cardiff fans said, I like a trip to London. Charlton's a decent day out, big club. And I like their manager and all, Nathan Jones, to be fair. Then I'd probably go third one. I'd go Stockport. It's pretty local, to be fair, just over at Snake Pass. Their fans have been through Mill, and they're a decent club. So, yeah, Stockport, Birmingham, Charlton.
Okay. Dan?
Yeah, echo a little bit of what Shaq said there. I think Birmingham, they're there anyway, but Stockport were always a fantastic away day many years ago when we were lower down leagues. But for me, Charlton, again, same reasons as Shaq's really. I think they came up the first time from Premier League with us. They were in Premier League with us, and they were there for a few years, come back down, and their story's been great, really. Like Nathan Jones, a good manager. But for me, the other one, I think they're the only team this year that's not been allowed to bring a player in. And they lost the manager, and they've been there or thereabouts. And we've had some good battles with them over the years. Reading, I think they lost the manager to Hull, but they've gone through transfer embargoes, and I think last 2 or 3 windows they've not been able to bring a player in, and they're still there or thereabouts. And I think that's brilliant for a new manager to come in and take that on when Ruben Sellers left to go to Hull. So I think I'd like to see. It's a nice story. That I think I'd like to see them.
Okay.
See them come back up as well.
I think bottom 4 teams you've got on there, they're just all failed Premier League teams. Boring. Wrexham, we've had a bit of rivalry last few seasons. Dislike them. I hope they get to final and go all the way to penalties and lose. Birmingham are nailed on, like those two have said. I like Stockport, a bit of an underdog story. They've got Ollie Norwood as well, so I've kept an eye on their results. And Wickham as well, another underdog. Really like that corner that they've got, and they've hopefully they pipped Wrexham to second. I'd go for those 3.
All right, good shouts. Thank you all very much. Thank you, of course, very much for watching. We massively appreciate all the comments. Do drop us a subscribe and a like if you haven't done so already. And we are massively looking forward then to this Sunday. We will see you in 7 days' time to review the derby. I'd say enjoy it, folks, but I know that's possibly not possible for this one fixture, but we'll see you in 7 days' time to talk about it. And again, thanks so much for watching.